Hey Flames fans, welcome to another edition of Flames Unfiltered. We are your hosts, Kyle Lewis and Brad Burud, on the week of Christmas.
It is the week of Christmas, and last week we saw some pretty solid hockey being played in Calgary.
Yeah, which we're not happy about that, right?
I don't know. No, I am. My inner being says be happy, but my brain says no. The plan. What the hell?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what's tearing us all apart. Like, was it yesterday I looked? I think there were 3 points out of a wildcard spot.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. I have the numbers, Kyle. I have the numbers.
Actually, I got some numbers I want to share with you too, which we'll get to shortly.
Yeah. How is that? First off, I guess it is Christmas, and I've noticed something over the years. And I don't know if this is good or bad.
Is it that I'm not a big Christmas guy?
I'm not either. Okay, so here's my problem. And I think it's worse when you have kids in a family. I don't mean worse than like a bad, well, kind of. The week of Christmas is supposed to be fun, relaxing, time to enjoy, and it turns into crazy, hectic, wild, insane stupidity leading up till Christmas. And I'm at like a breaking point today with it. I'm just like, I've had enough. We need Christmas to come and go. I'm not trying to be Scrooge because Christmas is an important time and it's a good time to be with family and friends. But man, after the New Year's is over, I'm just like, work gets to normalcy. The podcast gets to normalcy. Flames hockey gets to normalcy. My kids' routine gets to normalcy. And my life is a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, I had a customer call me today, my buddy Scott, and he was like, starts off the conversation like, Kyle, what are we doing? Like, what do you mean? He's like, what? Like, this is not, like, it's not cool. Like, why are we working so hard this close to Christmas? And I couldn't agree more. And I've actually found it extremely frustrating because it's like, this shouldn't be the case. People should be relaxing, and they're not.
I don't mind like working hard up until like, I don't like, what I don't like is that all that it goes around it. Right? All the extra things you have the week of Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. No. I mean, to me, it's just we've gotten too far away from what it's supposed to be about, which is everybody unwind, everybody unplug, and just take it easy for like a 2-week period, which apparently is too much to ask. But anyway.
Well, we can in today's world, but I think we've totally forgotten what it's all about.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
So anyway, enough about that. But yeah, since I guess I should say, since this is the last one we'll be doing prior to Christmas, I want to wish everybody a very happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff. So, what do you want to start with today?
I don't know. Let's start with the elephant in the room. This team's 5 points out of a wild card spot.
So now it's 5. See, so on last I looked, it was 3.
It was 3 until Utah won.
And that kind of, that's actually a good segue because it kind of proves the point. It's like,
let me just pull it up. Let me make sure that I'm accurate because we are recording on a Monday night. Yes, we are 5 points out. We're at 34. 39 is the low point for the wild card spot.
Yeah.
But Saturday's win against Vegas, which was very dominating and puzzling and a lot of factors. We catapulted 5 teams.
Yeah. Oh, it's a total logjam. Like it is pretty well every season. But I mean, we could be as many as like 10 points out by the next time we talk, right? So it's hard not to get excited. What's that?
We could be in a playoff spot.
No, it'll be 2 wins over the Oilers, which I never don't like. So, but even then, I don't know. It's just this carrot that the team seems to think they can chase, and I don't think it's realistic. Like we said months ago now, over a month ago now, the season's dead. So I still stand by that belief,
and I do too. Don't get me wrong, I do, and I want that too. But then you flip the page to the league, right? We're only 2 spots out of the worst, or 2 points out of the worst spot too.
Oh yeah,
that's how crazy this is. The whole thing is maddening.
Well, it is, but you know what? No matter how you feel about it, and it's funny when you watch on social media, Flames fans, but like, the pro tankers will call them, and those that are vehemently against tanking. I'm not a big fan of polarization in any respect, whether it's political beliefs, hockey preference, like anything. I don't think it's healthy. And in terms of where we're at right now, I will say this: we could be Leafs fans.
Ugh.
Because there's nothing worse than being near the bottom of the standings with a team that's supposed to be decent or really good, and you're nowhere near that.
I didn't check the validity to this, but I heard rumblings that Mark Savard was fired today.
He was fired.
Okay, so it's
Which
not
is kind of it's a weird. I wanted to talk about that just for a second. I find it really strange that the first domino to fall is the power play coach. I understand that power play struggled mightily, and they still have lots of skill in that team, but this is not a power play issue. This is a whole team sucks issue. It's a complete lack of effort from shift to shift in many cases. It's a lack of structure and cohesion. Like, I don't watch a ton of Leafs hockey, but everything I read, what I have watched, they're just a terrible hockey team right now, and they have to figure it out. And I don't think firing the power play coach is going to do much to turn that team around, to be honest.
I don't think so either. I don't. We have the exact opposite thing in Calgary. Like, we get an effort every single night.
We're over reliant on our efforts, is what we said before, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, this is. I said that on the last show, I think, or maybe the one prior, or maybe both of them. It's like, oh yeah, we have to play this way to win. Well, if you have to play that way at 82 games, you're not a very good hockey team.
But I want a team though that works hard 82 nights. But I want us to be a talented team that works hard 82 nights.
Yeah, so we're halfway there.
One goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's what bothers me. And it's not so much bothers me that like we're 5 points out of a wild card spot, but it bothers me that what is management viewing that as? I think that's the question that the fan base is more worried about, is like, what does that mean for what does that mean? What does that mean for Craig Conroy?
It doesn't really matter. You got to stick to the script, or stick to the plan.
I'm going to tell you something, and I pray I'm wrong. Come February 1, this team's 2 points out of a playoff spot. There's no way we're sticking to the script.
I know it's a micro example.
They like this core. They told us that. They like this core.
That might have just been trying to save face, though. We don't know that.
I know, but we don't know either way, right? Though.
Well, this is why it's such a hot topic and why it's become so exhausting, as it inevitably comes up in every conversation and every show and everything you read. I do want to finish a thought, though, that I meant to say this and I totally blanked out on it, about the Leafs, because I just find this fascinating, okay? So original 6 franchise, right? So the most career points by franchise. I'll just rattle you off a few, right, for context. So Sidney Crosby just took over the Penguins with 1,724 points, right? Joe McGinley in Calgary had 1,095 points. Brian Trottier in New York and the Island, 1,353 points. So you look at all the. I'm not going to get into the the newer teams because they're all in 500, 600, 700. Like Rick Nash, 547 points as a Blue Jacket, right? Mm-hmm. The all-time points getter for the Toronto Maple Leafs is Matt Sundin at 987.
Oh, I know.
That's crazy that an original 6 team.
But Kyle, see what you're forgetting, and I'm not ripping on you for it because it's just they were brutal for a 20-year span.
Oh, I know, but they're still an original 6 team. It doesn't make sense to me. So Ray Bourque in Boston, 1506. Stan McKeon in Chicago, 1467. Guy Lafleur, 1246. Like,
I know.
These numbers are that's nuts. Like, that is so crazy. Like, every original 6 team should have a player with at least 1,100 points plus.
So going back to what I just said, though, like when I said that they were brutal for 20 years, I meant like when I followed through the 80s and the 90s, they were brutal both those decades. What year did they start to come out of the brutalness? Was it like what? 2010?
Well, no, not entirely. I mean, they went to the West Final in '93, right, with Doug Gilmour and Wendell Clark, and then
they did.
And they had in the late '90s with Curtis Joseph. They made it to the second of the playoffs a few times.
Yep.
But to your point, they had like 10 straight years of garbage, and then another
prior to that, and then they had 10 years after that before the
there's probably 20 years of crap in there. Anyway, it just blows my mind. But I guess back to the original point, it's like, when people bemoan the Flames being better than, because like we said before, we knew they weren't going to be as bad as they started all year, and this is the time we were teams. Again, I'm going to quote the coach again. They are who we thought they were, right? So the Penguins suck; they're free falling. The Jets surprisingly are free falling, so they may turn it around. The Avalanche are dominant, which we knew. The Blackhawks have a litany of injuries and are starting to struggle. The Sharks are starting to struggle. And the Flames are much better than what we saw. But again, where we're not in a situation like Toronto, where they traded every asset they had to get guys like Scott Lawton, Brandon Carlo, and they are terrible. Not those players individually, but the team is awful. And one of my colleagues today was talking about Troy Stetcher, forever a Flame, talking to Austin Matthews, and Matthews just wasn't even listening to him on the bench. Like, it was like ridiculous. So if you can just imagine imagine we suck and we're supposed to be good, number one. Imagine that's the case. And number two, not only do you suck, you have no assets.
Can I ask you a question, though?
That's why we're here. Why
does nobody in Canada ever hold Austin Matthews responsible for this?
I don't necessarily believe that's the case, because the conversations that I belong to before I even state my opinion, I'm very often hearing that Matthews is the problem or a problem.
I'm not saying it's the only problem. I'm saying there is one key cog to this. He's been there for all of it.
Well, and I think, to your point, Mitch Marner being, traded but basically walking, people thought, oh, there goes the problem child, especially after his little tantrum against the Florida Panthers.
And I think he probably was part of it, because I didn't like what I saw mannerisms-wise from him either.
None of us did. And I think, to your point, I think the media has been a little slow on the uptake with this issue, because at the end of the day, and this, this goes for any profession, as we often say, like, if you're the captain of a team and your team is doing horribly, the captain has to bear a lot of responsibility for that, whether it's the message to the media, the way that he plays, the way that he talks to teammates, the way that he listens to his teammates.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, your Canadian media is not going to call out Matthews. They're not talking. No, they're not going to do that. I promise they're not going to do that.
There's so many parallels between Americans not calling out certain people there too that I want to allude to, but they're not hockey related, so I'll digress. I think you're right about that. I do. But now you got to be careful too, because certain types of media will go right after and blame him for everything.
What media is that? I haven't seen it yet. And I'm not saying that he should be the number one target. I'm saying he should be a target of the group.
Yeah. I'm not
I don't know. It's just like, I just feel like since he got there, it's almost been like, well, don't piss him off, because we can't have him walk.
Well, I don't know. Toronto Star is one that comes to mind. I think you're gonna see this get more and more heated. But
sure,
it's gonna be interesting to say the least. But again, I guess that was my point in all this. It's like this Flame situation. We got a new building coming. We have some phenomenal prospects, two of whom are expected to play very prominent roles in Team Canada, the World Juniors. Even if the selling, the rebuild, the retool, the rebiggle doesn't go as well as we'd like this season, we're still on the right path, and it's going to take a lot to throw us off that path.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the plan. Everybody that I've talked to wants two or all three of the Coleman, Kadri, and Anderson moved.
Yep.
Reports came this week that 20 plus teams have talked about Coleman.
That
to which nothing came of that. Kadri talks. I have heard reports that the Flames are willing to retain, which I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm not hearing any rumblings at all there. And Rasmus Anderson, who was the topic of du jour on Saturday nights, Hockey Night in Canada after hours, I don't know what to take of that. I don't know when these guys get moved, or what starts the dominoes to fall in Calgary, or if they will fall in Calgary.
I like to believe that we're now at the point where these three players are all playing so well that the offers after the holiday freeze will just go like this, right? To a certain point. I do think in the Cgy situation, you likely do have to retain a bit to get the return that you want for him, right?
Good. No problem. We got plenty.
Exactly. I think expecting a team, and that's the thing we talk about quite a lot, and it's talked about in all circles now. Cap space is one of the most valuable trade assets you can have. And the Flames
we were told all year last year about how important cap space was, and now make it count, right? Make it count.
Gotta weaponize it, yeah. And I think that's what they'll do with Cgy. Now, the Anderson thing, and we could spend the whole show talking about this, but we may as well dive into that. You and I spoke earlier, and we had some different interpretations a bit, and with good reason, I think, about Anderson's comments and how he came across. So you had said to me you felt that he was a little cocky, perhaps, and I don't necessarily disagree because I reflected more on that. I think he has found some of his swagger. I thought he was very funny in the interview. It was actually one of the more entertaining ones I've watched.
Yeah, I will say that.
Yeah. I don't know that I entirely, because we're not on the inside, of course, to any meaningful extent. I don't know the whole "takes two to tango" comment, which obviously stuck with everybody.
Well, that's what bothered me is the fact that Elliot Friedman's doing his job. And Elliot Friedman has never been known to report stuff that's just not out there. I've always considered him very, very credible.
Yeah, respectful. That's why he's number one in the business. Yeah.
And respectful. But
the biggest knock against Elliot Friedman is that he speculates on speculation speculatively all the time. And it's that's why there's so many great memes about it. But I mean, he is the most respected insider, and he earned that reputation.
I mean, just his arrogance in that comment to me bothered me. It takes two to tango. Wait a minute. You gave the Flames a number and they didn't want that. That you can't hold them against that against them.
I think, or
am I reading that wrong?
Well, I think there's a few things that happened there. So he talked about, the broken foot, right? Or broken leg, broken bone in his leg, which contextualized some of his struggles last year, right?
Yeah, okay, but he didn't talk about why he was struggling the 56 games leading up to that.
Fair enough. Whatever the case, his argument is predicated on the fact that he is one of the best defensemen in the NHL this year. And I'm not going to say that he went about it the right way, but for him to say it takes two to tango, well, his value and his ask were here, and now they're probably right now here, right?
I would agree.
Very, very, very close for those of you who aren't watching on YouTube. So I don't know. To be honest, I kind of respect the way he got out of it because he just made a comment and left it at that. Because really all it insinuates is the two parties have to be willing to do this dance. He didn't really, you would assume by his tone that he's saying the Flames aren't willing to dance, but maybe he hasn't been willing to dance as much either, right?
Could be, yeah.
So I'm choosing to interpret it that way.
It's one of those things that's difficult for all of us because we want honesty, but we can't get honesty because it's not feasible right at this moment, right? And
I think in a backwards way, he kind of protected the team when you think about it in terms of trade value, right?
I think he did. I'll give him that. Hanifin didn't. I think he did, but I also think
exactly.
God, I don't know. Yes, I agree with you. There's so many ways to read into it, and that's probably the problem is that we're having to read into it. I do believe him when he says that he loves Calgary. I do believe that.
Yeah, I don't think I do think
probably my biggest question though, Kyle, is that I don't trust that this play that he's doing right now is sustainable. And with where we're going and watching what we've seen from Brustevich and Kuznetsov and what we're waiting to hopefully see with Perek, do we have the room to sign him to what he wants?
No.
It sounds crazy, and I'm wishing on a prayer and throwing horseshoes, hoping that all turns out right. So that is a little bit ignorant on my part that the fact that all that will turn out. But I mean, Kuznetsov and Brustevich have really showed well early on, albeit a small sample size. But I just have a hard time saying we're going to give Rasmus Anderson 8 years at $9+ million. And I don't even know if it would be that right now. It might even be more. And I don't know. It's a tough call right now, right?
The reality is that, and a lot of unfortunately, Conrad's done a great job getting guys like Matt Coronado signed to team-friendly deals, right, for the foreseeable future. The problem becomes okay. First of all, to maintain or retain rather Anderson, Parekh, and Bristevich, you'd have to add a fourth period of hockey and extend power plays to 3 minutes to have room for all three of them. Like there's not enough power play minutes to go around. There's not enough minutes in a game for three guys.
I don't need Anderson on the power play. I've watched him for enough years. Our power play has never been.
Doesn't matter how you play him. Take the power play out of it. Then you don't have enough room for three right shot defensemen that are that good. You just don't. So
fair enough.
Yeah, it's just not reality. But the problem becomes if you were to give Anderson all this money, and you already have the fear, as you said, that he's not going to be able to maintain this level of play, which would be difficult for anyone to do. So you commit a ton of money to him over a lengthy term, which now we're into his mid to late 30s. But by the time that deal is really starting to get long in the tooth, well, by that point, everybody else needs a raise, right? And now I'm thinking of that stupid Brad Tree Living Soup thing again. But anyway, the point is that he just doesn't. The timeline of paying him out and expecting him to have the same significant role in the team, earn his money, which he won't after so many years, and still have room for these other guys, like somebody's going to have to go. And it's always going to be the older guy and the guy who's established and the guy that other teams want and are willing to pay for, right? So any way you slice it, great 80s Kiss song, by the way, there's just no room to keep him. And it's not that he's not a great player, not worth keeping. I don't mean that at all. It's just the life cycle of, cap era hockey means he has to go.
The part that sucks, though, is we're rolling the dice that Kuznetsov, Parekh, all these guys, and Brustevich all work out. And sadly to say, the one that I'm worried about the most working out is probably the one that would get us the highest value in a trade, and that's Parekh.
I agree. I have just as many concerns as you do. At this early point.
I'm surely not giving up on him because, we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't seen anything. But,
we saw the needs to get stronger.
Well, yeah, but we're not seeing that with Brustevich. And I know the critics will say, well, he's 2 years older. I get it.
Well, we said on the last show, too, that Brustevich, by, any estimation, is a more complete defenseman. And he really is. He has looked so good out there. Shift to shift to shift. Like sneaky good plays, patient plays, poised plays. So his emergence, at least to this point, has just further added fuel to the fire of trade Rasmus Anderson. Zane Parekh, for some reason he doesn't work out. You still have a potential stud in Brustevich. And again, I'd way rather be in this position than a team like the Leafs where you have no prospects that you can roll the dice on and hope they pan out, right? They get Easton Cowan, and that gets pretty lonely after that.
I totally agree. And I think, I think the Flames are finally in an advantageous position on defense. Left side needs some help. But that's workable, right? I just feel like right now the team is in a situation where you have high value on Coleman, high value on Kadri, and high value on Anderson. And I just pray management feels the same way as I do, that it's time to act on it. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from the Flames, but to touch on your point earlier about how they dummied Vegas. I know you know this, and I know it, and intelligible fans know it, and hopefully management/ownership knows it. They dummied a Vegas team that has a lot of injuries.
Oh, yeah. And a Vegas team that looked like they had checked out on Christmas break, too.
Well, yeah, and they're missing Jack Eichel. They're missing Shea Theodore. Somebody else is hurt too. Anyway, my point being, let's not... The fact the Flames have been, 10-4-1 or something since Maloney's comments. Okay, great. A little bit of a fire. Some guys got their shit together. Yeah, a lot of guys got their shit together and played like we know they can. This is still not a strong, deep hockey team. It has a lot of really good pieces. But as the games get more meaningful towards the end of January and through obviously February, March, it's going to become abundantly clear that this team is not very good. And I'd love to eat those words, but it's not going to happen.
Well, let's see what management does, but that brings us also to our X factor. And Ty Van Dusen TV says, if your franchise cornerstones are Blake Coleman, Nazem Kadri, you shouldn't be bragging about it. And yeah,
bingo.
Right?
Yeah.
Brings us back on the date on that one a little bit, but it still holds true today that I think this management group.
I looked at the date. I'm like, I wonder if he knows how old that is, but it's just as true then as it is now.
And that's one of the reasons why I put that on there, is because it does still hold true to this day, because I think the hesitation in this, and this is kind of what I wanted it to fold into talking wise. This fan base is scared right now. We want to cheer for wins. We want to cheer for successes.
Yep.
But we're so deathly afraid that each one of those wins climbs us just one step higher in the points, and one step higher in the points, and just one step closer to having management say, no, we're too close. We're too close to move these assets. We're too close. Next year, those assets can be moved next year. They can be moved next year. And that scares the heck out of me. And I think it scares the heck out of a lot of this fan base, right?
Yeah, this isn't an elite team like when it was, I mean, hindsight being what it is, it was worth the gamble of hanging on to Johnny Gaudreau, right? Because that should have been a deeper playoff run than what it was. You're 100% right. Everybody is panicking a bit, and rightfully so. We just, again, have to trust that the team is going to do the things that they have to do to stay the course, because nothing else makes any sense right now. And again, I'm going back a number of years, but when the Flames were a playoff team in 2015 and traded Glenn Cross for a second and a third from Washington. Great trade. Didn't affect the trajectory that much. Trading Anderson, Coleman, Kadri, of course, those guys are going to cause the ship to go down a little bit quicker as far as the 25-26 season goes, but the benefits, reaping those rewards so far outweigh a 6-game playoff series or whatever the high watermark this group's capable of, right?
So it leads me to think about this week. A game Tuesday in Edmonton and a game Saturday where Edmonton comes here. The Battle of Alberta, a time that when, you want to win more than anything.
It's hard right now, for sure.
How am I supposed to watch these games? I'm sitting here laughing at Edmonton as they trade for Tristan Jarry. He goes down with an injury right away. And did you know that the Edmonton Oilers goaltending tandem has the worst save percentage in the NHL in Calvin Pickard at 8.858 and the worst AHL save percentage in Connor Ingram at 0.856?
I was aware of that, actually. What I struggle with is understanding. I'd have to watch a lot more video on them. But are the goalies really this bad, or is Edmonton just that porous defensively?
They're that porous defensively.
I think they are atrocious defensively.
I think it's a twofold thing. I don't think the goaltending's good, and I don't think the goaltending's been good for almost a decade now, maybe longer.
How far back do we go now? It's hard to say that in a way because Stuart Skinner went to back-to-back Cup finals. So
I know, but they didn't.
It wasn't because of otherworldly goaltending, right? To be fair, now
no. Who was the last Edmonton goalie that makes you go, "Whoa, that guy was good"? I know who I have in my head.
Well, for me, it was Dwayne Rolison in 2006. He was fantastic.
I go back to Nikolai Hobby-Bulin.
He wasn't that good in Edmonton, though, was he?
He's still a goalie.
They wore those terrible pajama jerseys when he was there. God, I hated those.
Which ones are those?
They're just so plain. It's just like the white, V stripe. There's no real color to it with the Oilers logo. Yeah. I'll send you a picture. They were awful.
I hate those dark blue ones they wore up until just with the dark blue and orange. I freaking hated those too.
Yeah, they were bad. I loved their. I mean, this is because I'm a '90s kid, but I loved the jerseys they wore in the late '90s and early 2000s. They were beautiful. But let me change the question for you then. Who's the last great goaltender who was great in Edmonton? That's a harder question. Because Tommy Salo was very inconsistent. Curtis Joseph was fantastic. Then you're into the late 90s and you go back that far. But when I think about Oilers goalies... Oh, go ahead.
Grant Fuhr wasn't even that good.
Bill Ranford was really good, though.
Bill Ranford was probably one of their best. And, of course, the Rolison run. But
yeah, and Fuhr was a winner. Fuhr was a winner for sure.
But he won 8-6.
Yeah, a lot of the time. But, I mean, at the time, you could do that, right?
The difference between Fuhr and Skinner was that they found a way back then to get 2 more goals.
Yeah.
In the postseason. That's the difference right there.
So, we're really down the rabbit hole now, but Markkanen, Conklin, Salo, Habibulin, Jack Campbell, Cam Talbot. Talbot was a good goalie. I mean, he didn't do anything spectacular.
They let him go, didn't they?
I believe so. And he's been a good goalie everywhere he's gone. But anyway, all that to say, as far as the Battle of Alberta goes, it's really tough to know how to feel about it. I never want to lose to Edmonton for more reasons than I can count, and some I certainly don't want to get into. But the biggest one being, we're Flames fans. But the only thing I can advise anybody to do, and I'm far from an expert on this, is just take it a day at a time and a game at a time, right? Because if we go 2-0 against Edmonton this week, it's like, okay, holy shit, like we're right back in it. Well, then we lose 5 straight, right? Like we don't know.
Oh, I know. This is, last year was a roller coaster. Yet every year seems to be a roller coaster in Calgary, doesn't it?
Yeah, the consistency of winning teams like Dallas, Colorado, Tampa Bay, Florida, of course. I yearn for a day where we can, you can have 3 to 4 to 5 successful back-to-back seasons, because we never had that. In the 80s, they had some very good teams. That would have been the last time, the closest to that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird year, man. Like I'm going to Montreal to see the Flames and Habs on January 7th, and I'm just like, I don't know what the hell to do when I'm there. Like last year, Matty Coronado scored the overtime winner, and I was freaking out. It was fun. This year, I'm like, it'd be fun. But do I? I can't not cheer. I can't not wear Flames gear.
Gotta cheer. Right? You know what? Let's do this. It's in the spirit of Christmas. What should the Flames be asking Santa for this year? I've got 3.
You mentioned this in the last show, and as usual, you gave way more thought than I did. So I guess our typical yin and yang. 3 things. Oof, wow. So what they should be asking for, to be honest, like a 10-game losing streak, first and foremost, to solidify that top 3 pick.
It's funny that you say that, because that's my number 3. That's number 3 on my list of things to ask for.
Was it a 10-game losing streak?
Yes, that's my 3rd. That's number 3 on my list.
No, but like not just a losing, like a 10-game losing streak.
10-game losing streak. Same thing as what you said. That's what scares me.
We have not discussed this, everybody. That's incredible.
No,
wow. Okay.
That's what scares me.
Okay. So 10-game losing streak, that trade values continue to go up, that despite losing, the players, individuals continue to play super, super well. And the 3rd thing, I'm going to say that Matthew Gridin gets a recall sometime in the new year and shows he can score a bit at the NHL level.
Here's my 3 things I asked.
We're going to need some scoring wingers in the future, too.
Oh, yeah. He's the man, because right now he is doing some real special things. As he's top 3 all-time AHL seasons for under 20s. And I know that he's only 19, and most time 19-year-olds shouldn't or can't be in the American Hockey League, but with some of the new rules, he is. And he's on pace for 66 points. Wow. That's
wild.
crazy.
That's wild. So we know 1 of your 3. What are your other?
So my first one on my list is, and I was very specific on how I want Santa to deliver these. I want a Nazem Kadri trade before deadline. The sooner the better. I want a Rasmus Anderson trade. This is number 2 on my list, before the Olympics. I do not want the Olympic injury to come into play. I want it done before the Olympics. My number 3 was a 10-game losing streak. And I asked for a couple stocking stuffers, and that's Rustavich and I'm in there. I got Santa all figured out here. I got Rustavic and Kuznetsov to continue their development, and I just think what we're seeing from this year has been understated.
I agree wholeheartedly.
It's been good. And my only other stocking stuffer, and then I let Santa off the hook because I didn't want to bother him too much, is I need Zari to start scoring and regain his speed. He's been a little better lately, but I still need to see that pop from Connor Zary. I just need to see that pop.
Man, that snap came through so clear. That was perfect.
Did it?
Yeah, it hurt my ears a little bit. So Zary had 3 assists in the last game. Was all over the puck, had a great game. One of his probably his best game this year. I was actually a little bit upset when Jan Kuznetsov's apparent goal got changed. I think it was Edm Cgy.
Yes, of all guys.
Yeah, I like Cgy. I don't have an issue with somebody else getting a goal. It's that Kuznetsov goal wasn't his goal. I'm like, I love this guy. I want to see him more often.
I got to tell you something about Cgy. I don't dislike Edm Cgy. He works his ass off, and he actually makes things happen.
Yep.
He makes things. He's the only guy on the fourth line that makes things happen.
Although Lombard on Saturday certainly did.
Okay, but that's a one-off. It's a wow. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
But here's what irritates me, and I'm holding something against Klapka that I shouldn't. Is the fact that we're hearing Flames coaching and even some of the other media members saying maybe it's time to elevate Klapka blows my mind.
Even the net front presence on the power play hasn't worked very well. And by not very well, I mean not at all. So
let this guy be a fourth liner. Let us enjoy him. Quit stroking him off. I feel like right now Edm Cgy can do whatever, and they'll be like, "What's Edm Cgy?" And he's a force. Like, he's not a force. Like, he's a good fourth line winger that is doing a lot of good things for us right now.
He's a fourth liner that any other team would love to have.
Yes. And I'm happy he's on ours.
Yep.
But don't be talking about let's put him with Kadri up on the first line anymore.
Are people saying that?
Oh, I've heard a few things lately.
Oof, man.
Not so much maybe first line, but I've heard elevate him. And I'm like, ugh. How about we just be happy with what we're getting from him? Because he's been good. He's been real good.
Leave it at that.
Now I have another question for you, Christmas related, before I let you go enjoy your Christmas.
Oh, I won't, because work won't calm down. I have to go play hockey, but eventually I'm going to try to enjoy a little bit of it.
What's a great hockey related gift that you've either received at Christmas time or given at Christmas time?
Oof. I don't know if I've ever given a good hockey related gift. I don't know about that. I received my first ever Flames jersey in the
Christmas,
year.
huh?
Yeah, in the year 2000, maybe. Actually, I'm quite certain it was 2000.
That makes me feel old. That makes me feel really old.
It was a Flames pedestal jersey, and I still have it.
Really?
It's a rag now, but I'm keeping it forever.
Well, yeah, I have my first too.
Probably get buried in it.
Okay.
In a Kiss casket.
If you're not a Kiss, you could have a casket with Eddie Van Halen's guitar.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah.
That's more up your.
Yeah, my brother's a bigger Kiss fan than I am, but I do love them. I'm still trying to think of what I would have given someone for a hockey related gift.
I couldn't think of one thing.
I took my girlfriend one year to my girlfriend at the time. I took her to a Flames game, which is really more of a gift to myself because she's an Oilers fan. But it's one of the happiest days of my life. So
very thoughtful there, Kyle.
She called me selfish a few times. Maybe she was right.
Oh, I could get into a long story about a girl. I think I did talk to you about the girlfriend in the season.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. We're not here for dating advice. Okay, we're gonna flip that back to you. What was one you gave, one you received?
Golly, I'm having a hard time on the given one myself, and I had this question pre-planned, and I still can't come up with a given. That makes me horrible.
Yeah, you've had way more time for this than I have.
You know what? One thing I remember getting, I think it was around like 1990. I got my first subscription to the Hockey News, the old newspaper when it came once a week. And that was like really back then. I mean,
it used to be once a week.
It was once a week, and it was like freaking breaking news, man. I mean, it was like, you know, when you're living in rural North Dakota on the Canadian border.
Yeah.
That's breaking news, right? Back in 1990. So I remember going through those and having that stack, and that was a lot of fun. Now, as for the given, I haven't given a lot of hockey gifts. That's pretty pathetic.
Is excuse me? Is it though?
Maybe smart.
It might be smart.
Something. Oh, I did get my wife something hockey related one time for Christmas. I was at the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I was in the gift shop, and I bought like a women's hooded. I wasn't hooded. It was like more of a women's jacket that said Hockey Hall of Fame. It was pretty nice. Cool. I'm not sure she wore it very often, but irregardless, right? Pretty pathetic. Maybe smart, because I will tell you that when I first got married, I gave my wife a vacuum cleaner for Valentine's Day, and that didn't go over so hot.
Pardon my French, are you fucking kidding me right now?
No, I'm not. But you know,
like nowadays you can do a Roomba, and that might make some sense. It's like, you know what, babe, you shouldn't be having to do this.
There's so much more to preface that, though. It sounds way, way worse than it was.
Well, even what I just said sounded bad, because really what you should do is, split chores 50-50, or whoever works more or less, or whatever. I don't care. I'm all about equality. I'm trying to figure out where your head was at, so please indulge me.
Well, my head was like, I need to find a gift.
Firmly up your ass.
And I don't like shopping for gifts, but my wife likes doing. I can't say she likes cleaning, but she's like OCD, so she wasn't that upset about it. Probably not as upset as she should have been, but still not probably one of my better decisions in life.
I think we've established before that your wife is a saint.
Probably better go find her a Christmas gift.
Yet another reason that's a good thing she does not listen to this show.
Oh yeah, she doesn't listen. She doesn't listen. There's no way.
To the show. To the show.
Well, she doesn't listen.
Finish that thought. Punctuation's important.
Oh, jeez. Well, it is Christmas week. We got to be happy, right?
I want others to be happy. I don't want to be like, that bah humbug loser that like takes other people's joy. That's why I keep to myself this time of year a lot of years, because of it's just how I am with it.
Well, yeah. I know. One thing we need to be happy with, though, is we need to thank all our listeners who put up with us every week for the whole year, and we have a lot of real loyal ones, and I'm thankful for. It's fun.
I am too. It's fantastic when you see like a private message or a tweet or if fan mail in some cases. Like it's
sitting laugh because 7 years ago I was doing this by myself for a couple years, and then you hopped on board, and it's funny how different things lead you different directions and stuff. But we've had some really, really good times. We've had some shows that we'd like to take back, and some shows that were pretty memorable, and it's been a lot of fun. But we have a lot of great listeners, and what's really cool about it is the listeners keep growing, and the fun keeps growing. I look forward to doing this every single week. So so in this holiday season, I guess that's one thing me and you should be really happy and thankful for.
No, 100%. I also just enjoy the fact that kind of gets me amped up before I go play hockey, as I do during the winter months. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's when I started doing this, I remember just kind of thinking, oh, this would be cool, and we'll give it a whirl, and then it kind of became part of my routine, and the engagement side is always really, really fun. Yeah, I don't really know what else I can say, but you haven't already said. I mean, we've got a fantastic fan base, and hopefully it continues to grow and people like what we do, and we'll keep doing it, right?
That's right.
And I mean, the thing that I always, I'm not sure if people realize this. I'm sure they do, because it definitely shows in some of the some of the episodes, it's not all of them, but like we don't really rehearse anything, and we used to a little bit. And we never prepare each other for questions.
A little bit. We used to send some notes, and now like you kind of write notes, I kind of write notes, and like we kind of go with it, right? And we found that to be a little bit more fun, a little bit more enjoyable for the listeners, and I sure have a lot better time doing that.
Yeah, I just think it's more organic when it's off the cuff because we both say ridiculous things the other one's not expecting, right? Like stories about how we bought our wife a vacuum cleaner.
Oh yeah,
that's a gift. I should.
I keep saying that's one of my faults is I keep saying stupid shit that makes me look dumber than I really am.
Well, I was going to point out the word irregardless actually because it doesn't really exist, right? Because it's just regardless.
Solid.
But I'm also like the grammar, spelling, like thesaurus, like police, right?
You are. You are.
So here you are saying I'm not as dumb as everybody thinks I am. I'm going to make you look dumber.
Thanks. Yeah.
Now, if you want to put all the stupid things I've said and done, we can record this for another 6-7 hours to get through chapter 1.
Oh, I think the whole world would say that we've all got a few things on our list of takebacks, right?
Yeah, takebacks, do-overs, mulligans. Wish I hadn't been there.
Yeah. What the hell was I thinking?
Oh man. But that's the thing. Life always gives you more and more chances. So
anyways, Battle of Albertas are this week, so let's enjoy that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, so what do we got? We got Edmonton. I know Seattle's in there.
I didn't look any further than that. I know what we have Tuesday night. I know what we have Saturday night. I'm not looking any further.
I'm just curious how many games until I see them play. It can't be. No, it's not that many. Anyway, I got the Bruins. They play Boston twice in a week. That's crazy.
Really?
Ugh. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well,
all right.
Speaking of hockey, I got to get to the rink. So,
all right, Kyle and I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. Enjoy the Battle of Albertas. Enjoy your time with your family, your friends. And we're back next week, Sunday night record because the Flames play Monday night. So hopefully that works on everybody's schedule and we'll have a new show out for you next week. And we'll be here one way or another, right, Kyle?
100%. And do yourselves a favor, everybody. Take some time for yourself for the holidays too, right? Unplug, decompress, watch your guilty pleasure show or crappy Christmas movie and just take it easy.
For sure. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a good week, and we will be back next week talking Flames hockey.
Merry Christmas, folks.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames hockey talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.